made an interesting new purchase. On August 1st, the stand-up comedian shares to social media that he is now one of the proud new owners of Ed and Lorraine Warren's Occult Museum, which is home to allegedly haunted items such as the Annabelle doll.
Hey guys, super random but incredible announcement. I have just bought the Ed and Lorraine Warren's Home and Occult Museum with my very good friend Elton Castay. If you guys have ever seen any of the Conjuring films, the Annabelle films, or even Amityville Horror, this is the home that inspired all of those stories. This might be the most important and prominent piece of paranormal history in the world. Ed and Lorraine Warren are who took demonology and ghost hunting and paranormal investigation and made it mainstream. Now, I know a lot of you guys don't know what any of this means whatsoever, but if you follow ghost stuff, this is about as big as it gets.
Matt then details exactly what comes with the new ownership and how he plans to open the house for other paranormal enthusiasts to visit.
Yeah, there you go. So he bought that Amityville Horror house. I guess that's the house that it was based off of, and then the Conjuring and Annabelle is all based off of that. Mm-hmm. I think those are all along the same time. Like those are all from the same universe. Those movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, people are intrigued by that stuff, man.
Yeah, and I think we're going to this place where a lot of people are want to be spiritual. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are getting into occultism.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that too. I mean, for me, I feel like this. I feel like for so long, we have been focusing on third world countries like Africa as being witchcraft prone, which it is, but we've never had a true analyzation of Europe in terms of like these guys, the occultists that came from there, you know, and influence far more.
Well, because the witchcraft in Africa is a lot easier to just point at because they're doing voodoo, they're cutting chickens, you know what I mean?
And it seems weird when all the dancing, but when you go back and even I was watching this thing and it was like these fairy tales, you know, all these little stories that we grew up with.
Yep.
Where did it come from? They were all folk tales. Like what we told you about Trinidad folk tales. You know what I mean? Like, where did it come from? What was this about? You know,
Dwayne.
Yeah, like, you know, like women, witches in the woods, and all these little things. Like
Sukunya.
But where did we get that from? And I look back on all these little stories, and I'm saying, like, back then, you look at all the people who wrote those things. You know, all wrote these stuff like Lord of the Rings, and all these things. Like, if you go back and you start looking at them, they were members. A lot of them, not him specifically, but a lot of people were members of the Golden Dawn or these little weird English, Writers Guild cultic kind of things.
Bro, Peter Pan. I was just watching a whole breakdown about that. Like, that is straight up from the occult. Peter Pan, that whole story, and especially when you read the actual book, not the Disney interpretation, but the actual book and how dark and demonic it is. And first of all, you know, Pan is based off of
the goat
Pan's Labyrinth.
Well, I think the reason why you don't have that so much in the West is because of the suppression through religion. You know, so like it wasn't accepted. You had to do it behind.
You had to do it covertly.
So that's why these orders existed a lot of times.
They had to go underground, and
but they brought it through movies and books.
Yes, and they slowly. That's why we're showing the never-ending story thing, because it's like they slowly get you to buy into these themes and to indoctrinate your mind into accepting it into your heart, so that when you do, when you eventually rebel against Christianity, all of the ideas are already there in you.
Yeah. Well, think about like even like the Antichrist, or you know, these things that seem so far off. Like, how would you get the earth to fight against Jesus? If Jesus, maybe people don't know, but Jesus is supposed to come back, and why would people go to war against Jesus? You would have to make them believe that first of all, he's evil because the good guys are here, and the good guys had to prove themselves that they're the ones that you should be looking to, worshiping, trusting in, right? So you have to set this all up.
Well, isn't that like when you look at Morals and Dogma, that's what Albert Pike talks about Lucifer being the actual God. And I know the Gnostics also believe that as well. That like God was actually the evil one.
Yeah.
The God of the Hebrews was the evil one who was trying to suppress knowledge from Adam and Eve. And the snake was the actual benevolent one.
Yeah. You know what's interesting?
What?
There was a small model of the throne of Satan, or the throne of Apollos, the altar of Apollos, which is in the Bible. It says the Pergamus, the throne of Satan, right? And it was in the Germany, Berlin's museum.
Okay.
Right? And I think it was Nuremberg that they had somebody actually build that. This is in the time of the SS and Nazis, right? Before the war, they built that, and I was listening to a guy talk about how that's when they built that, they did some kind of speech there, and that's where they came up with the whole thing. That's where you've heard what's his name, Hitler talk about the whole Holocaust thing and what they wanted to do with the Jews. Like, it's very interesting.
Wow.
There's more to it because I just heard it like this morning, but when I heard that, I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Because when you think about like Galileo, he was in the occult.
Copernicus.
Yeah.
Isaac Newton.
All
of these guys.
What's the other guy who did the
Pythagoras. Pythagoras is another one.
Yeah, but that's way back. I'm talking about evolution guy.
Oh, Charles Darwin.
Yeah, Charles Darwin, same thing. Like these people, Francis Bacon.
Yeah, Francis Bacon is a
and
huge one.
He's supposedly the guy who did the scientific what's it called? Method.
Yeah.
So
he's also credited with creating the English language.
Yeah, that's true. So you have this if you can build a false reality, right? And just have people looking in a certain direction, and everything is evolution and it came from somewhere but not like you think, and they're setting us up for something, and a lot of this stuff, like how did the Nazis go from in debt, war, like lost World War I, in debt, and they just come up with all these
the most
things,
technologically advanced jump in technology we've ever seen.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Where's that come from?
To the point where after the war, we took them here to develop our space program.
I mean, yeah, they started the jets.
Yeah.
Like they had jets there.
Yep.
Where'd all this stuff come from?
Well, interesting you said that. If you look on some of the hieroglyphs, there are things that look like helicopters and jets.
And airplanes, yeah.
Which says that there was a society and there was a time when these things were there. They didn't call them that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, it's eerily similar to...
I mean, now what they've discovered with that LiDAR under those pyramids and, like, showing that there might be even another city that they found underneath the pyramid, like, there is pointing to an ancient civilization that had some technology that we don't know about,
Yeah. Definitely, like, we think we got it all figured out.
Yep.
And we don't. And that's where they get you.
Yeah.
Because, the way that girl was on that one thing with Patrick Bet-David and she's just spewing this stuff and talking, that's what gets you, because you think you know so much. Yeah. You need to humble yourself.
And from an occultic perspective, or at least from what I understand that they do, because it took me a while to understand this too, the offspring of the fallen angels and the women, the Nephilim, they would have been disembodied spirits. They were not celestial or terrestrial. They had no place to go. So they
when they died.
Yeah. So they they were this abomination. This abomination. They were the unclean spirits that would be roaming about with no rest.
Yeah.
They seek rest. They get none. They hunger. There's no food.
Yeah.
All these things. You know what I mean? So from the Christian standpoint, a lot of the pastors don't touch the deeper.
Yeah.
It's
too scary.
And I would say,
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
People are scared.
Yeah.
to go a little deeper with it, like I would say the Nephilim, they're the hierarchy of the hybrids, because demons aren't just like the Nephilim. They're the hierarchy of the demons.
Yeah.
Other than the fallen angels. But I would say like you had hybrids that were mixed together, chimeras, so to speak.
Because they were crossbreeding all different kinds of things.
Like those are the things that, like when you hear people talk about seeing demons and seeing look like an animal, look like this, look like that, they look different.
Dwayne.
Yeah.
And
it's in every folklore, by the way.
It is.
All over the
It
world.
is. All over the world.
Because you're seeing something that should not have been here.
Should not have
it was not
existed,
created by God.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what they are. And that's probably what these people are.
In communication with.
Yes. They're communicating with ancient beings that are disembodied.
They want to be worshipped again.
Yeah.
And they know that the only way is to convince humans to basically resurrect them.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah.
You
Which
know
is
what I
why
mean?
it's like, think about like, especially with the child sacrifice thing, I've heard it so much
Yeah.
about child sacrifice. And it represents, to them, it's it's the killing of Jesus, because it's like a virgin, it's a child, innocent, you know, and you're laying all this care, all this sin on this child, you know, aside from the adrenochrome or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's very common. They use a lot of that, you know, and not just in occult, but like in well, witchcraft, I guess would be occult, but all over.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, again, it's you see what Aleister Crowley was doing. You look at what other people do. It's to open up portals.
Yeah.
It's to open up spaces that should be closed off. It's to figure out
To
a different
gain
way.
access.
That's John 10, right?
You're a thief and a robber. You're a thief and a robber.
If you enter any other way, enter what?
Right.
Into the spirit
realm. But by Jesus, then you are a thief and a robber.
And they've said that. They've said that it's not aliens like coming from the sky. It's interdimensional beings that they need you to open the door for them. They just can't. They don't have access.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or you even
I think it's and both.
It could be, because there's different versions of them. Because
yeah.
in Daniel it says, remember when Gabriel was talking to Daniel, he said, "I was on the way the minute you knelt down, but I was withstood for 21 days by the Prince of Persia." Now there was actually a Prince of Persia, a physical person, but there was a Prince of Persia, the entity.
He was talking about the principality that rules over that region.
Right. Yeah. So that right there lets us know that there's a command system, there's a ranking system, because this wasn't just no ordinary demon.
Right.
The demons ran. The demons and the Gadarenes were begging Jesus for life.
Right.
This one was so powerful that it controlled the region, but he needed to go back and get Michael to withhold him.
Yeah.
And he had to go back and do it again to get back.
Right.
So that tells there's some sort of power.
Right.
And there's a ranking system. Some are more powerful than others.
Yeah.
It even says some are cast out through prayer and fast.
Yeah.
It takes more. This one doesn't come out like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So it says something. There's a ranking order.
there's definitely rankings. There's definitely order in the kingdom of darkness, or else it wouldn't be a kingdom. And yeah, it's interesting. I was just looking this up today, that the word for prince, I thought it would be, but I was just making sure, is Sar. And you know, like that's when you think of is Sarel, right? That Sar is in there. That's a prince. So because Israel can be to rule with God, right? Or to struggle with God,
Right.
because the root of that struggle word is prince, right? So, and you look at what was happening, there was a struggle over Persia, right? So we're learning, and why was there a struggle? Because really it was Daniel was struggling. There would have been peace for that one prince, entity, whatever. He wouldn't have had to deal with Gabriel if it wasn't for Daniel.
Right.
Even in that state. So imagine now. Imagine how Jesus, because we're not dealing with the same Satan that reigned at that time of Daniel is not the same Satan we deal with today.
Oh, no.
Because of Jesus. Right? So, and what he did, he made an open spectacle of these powers, right? These principalities in the air. So we're coming from a whole different place. So now what is the tactic? It's to get us separated from who we really are. That's the tactic, right? To keep us feeling hopeless, right? To get us to accept more socialist programs and not trust God, right? Trust the government more than you trust